So every week I do this. I talk about this rug. This we get a different rug every week, if you can believe it. This rug is so gorgeous, and we our dear friend Carney Manassian. Carney, could you come down here for a second? He is here. So Carney is our dear pal of ours. There's my wife. A dear pal of ours and the owner of Manassian Rugs just down the street. And he's also a jazz fan. So every time we do a show here, magically, two guys show up with this rug, with a rug, and put it down, and we get to perform on it. So you told me this rug is, well, describe this. I don't even know.
This is a Persian carpet called a kashan, and it was made probably right around late 1800s, early 1900s. So it's over 100 years old, and it's in unbelievably good condition. And it's made with what's called Manchester wool, so it's really soft, really. So I got a soft rug so that Bea can roll around on it, because she likes to do that on each of the rugs. So.
I lay down on it every week. I do. Before we roll it up, I'm like, I have to just lay on this room.
Plus, tonight is a special night because it's a family deal. It's cousins playing tonight, so they have to make it good.
Yeah. Thanks, Carney. So thanks for doing that. Al Day, Carney's cousin. So what else? I told you about what's coming up. Quickly, we have a great relationship with WDCB, the jazz station here in Chicago, 90.9 FM. And every one of our shows we do here, we record. And we record much the way we would do in the recording studio, which is why the abundance of microphones up here. And then the shows are later edited and broadcast on WDCB on a show that I host called Chicago Jazz Live on Tuesday nights. So in the coming weeks, you can be listening for that on WDCB. And just thank you for being part of our studio audience this evening. And that happens with all of our jazz shows. So as I hope you have a good time this evening. I hope you spread the word that we're here, that we're doing this, and that we do these shows for broadcast. And that's about it. I'm going to get out of the way now and make way for these incredible musicians. These guys are, I've known a lot of these guys for a lot of years, but I just met Marc Smith, and I just told him a little bit ago, he has been on my radar for such a long time. The founder of the poetry slam poetry movement here in Chicago, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. I come back at the top of the second set and do a little bit of a Q&A, so we'll talk to Marc and the other guys, but I'd really like to learn a little bit more about the movement that he began over 30 years ago here in Chicago, still going strong and been exported to over 500 cities. But it's an incredible band, and this is something I don't even really know what's going to happen tonight. This is a band that was just really an ensemble that was created just for this evening. Al Day on guitar and vocal, Doug Lofstrom on bass, Bob Long on piano, Brian Gephart on saxophone, and Marc Smith is doing his poetry, and anything could happen. Absolutely anything could happen, and I love it. So please give a warm welcome to these fellows. I don't even know what to call them, but they're here. Believe me, I just saw them. I'm going to get out of the way, and I'll see you folks later. Thanks so much.
Steve's right. You will never know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. This is an idea that we talked about for a long time, and I talked to Marc about because I would play over at the Mill occasionally with the poets on the Sunday night poetry slam, which is, if you've never been to the Mill and witnessed this, it's he can explain it to you. He will explain it to you. It is a unique experience. You can even be a part of it, which I at one point got up and did, recited a piece, and it's probably 10 times scarier than sitting here at the piano. So we're going to open up with Marc, with the help from Brian. Go ahead.
So this is a poem that I wrote. The slam movement started at the Get Me High Jazz Club in Butchie's place. Anybody been to the Get Me High? Yeah. Okay. So that was a vortex of things, and so it started out. You never knew if there was going to be 5 people there or 50. So this is called Nobody's Here. Nobody's here. All the world in another place. All the flashing lights on the city slick pointing somewhere, but not here. Hit the jukebox, Donnie. Hang us around for one more smoky hour of I want you conversation. Tears running down the old style bottles like dreams down somebody's cheek. Quarters in the jukebox, Donnie. Tell all the passed over dreamers that want to know that somewhere atop this high city, a starlight daddy pops his fingers making a moon, making a comet's tail spin out of a stone axe, grinding off a wheel, shooting sparks into the dead black sky, riding trains of lights on rails that scream midnight, 2 and 4 a.m., telling us to go back to somewhere, even if we don't know where that is. So hit the jukebox, Donnie. Let all the songs play out. Ring the last call bell, Tom. Turn the lights up. Shake the loveless hearts alive again, Lois. Send them off to home to sleep another night alone. 'Cause nobody's here. Nobody's here. She just ain't here. Trumpets glow blows blue as red the rhythm cuts the rain with saucy cinder beats, and blackbirds hop the hi-hat lines. It's a scat smatter scene. In cellar grays where notes collide, the bulb's half-eclipse cleaves a brain. In death, the wailing madman cries, leaves me half-breaths, baby. Scats matter scene. To fall, to fly within the wide, dance and die. Crosses elms at night, flows through the tubes of tacit life, proclaiming in its haunting moan all his senseless pops. But the brew within the brassy stove cooks clean to alabaster bones, and fame, the jiving jazz man's told, hangs with the blackbirds up on those high, hot mountains.
Thanks a lot. Of course, that's Miles' All Blues, but Al, I had asked Al a while back to rewrite lyrics for it. Oscar Brown Jr. wrote some incredible lyrics, of course, but Al took it to pen and came up with that. And Mark just came up with that, so.
Yeah. That's basically my role in this whole organization is if Keys tells me to do something, I do it unquestioningly. And it's prepared me really well for the current administration. So the results are a little bit more acceptable. And this is a tune that I got the right lyrics for also. It's one of Bob's tunes about a student he had, which we think we've got the spirit of his student down, but
Yeah, this is a young boy who I started teaching when he
oh
was
no, you
7.
gotta tell us the whole story now.
And
aren't
I
you?
won't. We're gonna play.
It was a dark and stormy night.
It was a dark and stormy night. Who I started teaching when he was 7. He's now in high school and he's doing all sorts of music stuff. He's a brilliant student.
So
I wasn't a brilliant teacher, but he was a
Yeah.
brilliant student.
We brought Mark in here so somebody would say something sensible.
So I'm not going to be inside on this one. I just wrote something that jumped off Al's lyrics on this thing to introduce the tune. So Tristan's Blues. Hopeless, helpless, featherless, fruitless. Don't confuse up from down, down from up. It's all the same. Lose your shoes, man. Walk the road barefoot, on your knees, crawl, climb, fly even if you're falling. Whatever the fates allow you, follow. Right way, wrong way, ain't no difference. It's life, man, unpredictable. So what you gotta do when you hit the ground hits you, or you hit the ground, is swing, daddy-o.
Whatever the fates allow you, whatever the road you follow, whatever the wrong way, whatever the right way, now you're gonna choose it, not gonna lose it. Pick it up, drop it down, make it swing, hit the ground. Whenever your time runs slowly, whenever you're feeling lonely, wherever you're going, whoever you know it, now you're gonna choose them, not gonna lose them. Pick it up, drop it down, make it swing, turn around.
Hopeless.
Why would you be helpless?
Helpless.
Why ever be blinded or far behind it while yours wouldn't choose it? You can't confuse it. Pick it up, drop it down, make it swing till you're found. Drop your line, lose your shoes, make it stick, pay your dues. Let the quest spread the news, fall on down, Tristan's Blues. quarter for a tune like the old mill stream. But I'd give $1 and my heart to follow to the brown skin gal in the calico gown. A puzzler for a pal, a jackknife for a song, a garter for a gal in a blue sarong. But I'd give a necklace because I'm reckless for a kiss from the miss in the calico gown. Haven't much use for worldly goods, Robin Hood's for me. If my love's worth a nickel, it's worth a peso. Mine for the giving, hers for the say-so. A penny for a card to take her out the dime. A scissors cuts her heart on a valentine. Then a sky blue bonnet with pink ribbons on it for the brown skin gal in the calico gown.
Love is a deep and a dark and a lonely. You take it dark, you take it deep like a lonely winding. And when the winding gets too lonely, then may come the windflowers and the breath of wind over many flowers, winding its way over many lonely flowers, waiting in dry lips, waiting in wonder, waiting on dry afternoons. So you take love as it comes keening, as it comes with a voice and a face, and you make a talk of it, talking to yourself, a talk worth keeping, and you put it away for a keen keeping, and you find it to be a hoarding, so you give it away, and yet it stays hoarded, like a book read over and over, like one book becoming a long row of books, like windflowers bending low, bending to be never broken. Love is a deep and a dark and a lonely.
much use.
So you take love as it comes keening.
For worldly goods.
As it comes with a voice and a face.
Robin Hood.
And you make a talk of it.
For
Talking
me.
to yourself a talk worth keeping.
If my
And you put it
love
away for a
was
keen
a
keeping.
nickel,
And find it to be a hoarding.
it's worth a peso.
So you give it away.
Mine.
And yet it stays
for the giving.
like a book read over and over.
For the say so. A penny
Love is a
for
deep and a dark and a lonely.
to take her out.
You take it deep.
dine.
And you take it dark.
A scissors.
You take it with a lonely
'cause
winding. When
I'm
the winding gets too lonely, then may come the windflower.
Then a sky.
And the breath over many lonely flowers.
With
Waiting in rain leaf
ribbons
whispers.
on it.
Waiting in dry
For
stalks
the
of moon.
brown skin gal
Waiting in wind breaths.
in the calico
And lonely.
gown.
Say a little something about that, Al.
See? We'll have to cut this a little short, so why don't we cut to what can I do right now?
Oh, my God.
I need
But
to.
let Mark do,
Mark?
No, that's okay.
No, no.
cut the-
Seriously.
yeah, you got it. You're going to open it.
Okay, I'm gonna open it,
It's a
folks.
tight
But,
ship.
but before we get started with this, just to know, this is, I've known Bob for 45 years, and the man has always
Wait,
had
I'm
a singer, what, 45? Not 45?
That's as good a number as any we're going to come up with. I've known Al since Jesus had shoes. And
and
that's
I-
an expression I learned a long time ago. It has no reflection on anybody.
And when I knew Bob, he had hair,
Yeah, that's
which,
true.
I'm serious, it was, you had hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I did too. So.
What I remember of those days, I basically sort of remember that.
Yeah, but, well, here's the thing. Bob has always had a singer deep inside him waiting to come out, and it comes out tonight, so.
Boy, after that, we should just go to Bob after that intro.
No.
Forget
I need.
me.
I
Right
need
to Bob on
I
that
need a
one.
buffer. I need a buffer, please.
Come on, Mark.
Okay. By the way, that poem with on that last one was the Sandberg poem. Love is a deep and dark and lonely. He was a romantic as well as a socialist. This is a poem that actually I sat in with Kurt Elling a few times at the Green Mill, and Kurt took this and used to use it in his repertoire overseas, I suppose, when he got big. So there's something of something around us, within us, between us. Something of something heard sometimes in the sound of one instrument at play. There's a brilliance and a depth in each note that vibrates off the string into the wind, into the breath of the wind like a sigh, that precipitates upon our perceptions unnamed, unsolved resolution. Resolution building like white cumulonimbus clouds above city skylines, stone and steel, of platforms and pedestrians, stone walks and fountains above passengers and passers-by to be. Building more mysteriously than the unseen pressure of air that builds on idle sun porch afternoons, where idle music sheets, blank and silently so long, are suddenly overturned by new accords of weather, sounding with every breath, new rattlings, new scratches at the door begging to be brought in. There's something in the wind, in the music, in the loneliness that It strains against its boundaries to be found, to be free, to be resolute in the storm bending of stems, in the beating rapture of rain, in the vibration of the strings set to motion by each of the keys as they are played by that something of something around us, between us, within.
I had a job. Well, I had 3 or 4 actually. Now I have no job, no more. But I'm happy. I ain't blue. What can I do? I had a lover. She was so spiffy, and then she cut out in a jiffy. Still, I'm happy. I ain't blue. What can I do? What can I do?
What can he do?
The sun still shines and the birdies sing. What can I do?
What can he do?
Oh, my little troubles don't amount much to anything. No. My ship came in, and then it turned around and left me here. But do you see me crying in my beer? Actually, I drink wine, not beer, but that's all right. I don't think so. I'm happy. What can I do?
What can he do? What can he do?
The sun still shines and the birds sing. What can I do? My little troubles here don't amount to anything. But my ship just came in.
His ship came
and then
in.
it turned around and left me here. But am I crying in my beer? I don't think so. I'm still happy. I ain't blue. What can I do? What can I do? What can I, what can I do? A Star Is Born.
Bob singing. That's the first time I've heard Bob sing. I heard him read a poem, but I never heard him sing.
No. Yeah.
Kurt
who? It's we're supposed to shorten this set, so how much are we shortening it?
Stoving back everything up?
Stoven back. Yeah.
There's a little story on this one too, but we won't. I wrote this we did it actually originally as the song, Brian and I did it as a duo piece. Yeah, that's right, in the studio, and recorded in the studio. And I asked Al to write some lyrics for it, and he did, and it's based sort of on, well, you tell him, Al, our friend.
Keys, well, by the way, I'm the only person who calls Bob Keys. It comes from an old time. We all met each other, largely we got to know each other, at this old coffee house called Two Fools that lasted for 1 year. That was about the time span of it, 1 year, and then most everybody was run out of town. And one of the guys who ran it was a guy named Bob Champagne, and he's amazing. He was a great musician. He was just a brilliant visual artist, and he was just the one person that we all loved. And everybody's got somebody like that occasionally. You just can't get him out of your head once you meet him. He moved with Bob and the rest of them over New England, and he's not with us anymore. Bob wrote this gorgeous, gorgeous essay about him and gave it to me. I came up with the lyrics, and he came up with the music. And if you get a little bit of him, we hope you do, because you'll be lucky. He was young and he was old, looking for his true name, with two fools and seekers blind, looking for his true name. He'd wait in the darkness for the light, lost in the darkness.
I'm not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground. So it is, and so it has been, and so it will be, time out of mind. Into the darkness they go. Wise and the lovely, crowned with lilies and laurels they go. But I'm not resigned. Lovers and thinkers, into the earth with you. Be one with the dull, indiscriminate dust. A fragment of what you felt, of what you knew. A formula, a phrase remains. But I am not resolved. The best is lost. I do not approve. The answers quick and keen, the honest look, the laughter, the love, they are gone. They have gone to feed the roses. Elegant and curled is the blossom. Fragrant is the blossom, I know, but I do not approve. More precious was the light in your eyes than all the roses in the world. Down, 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 down.
He would ask, then he would
Down into the darkness of the grave.
with rhythm
Gently they go.
rhyme
beautiful,
and wonder,
Tender, the kind,
always
quietly they go.
looking
The intelligent,
for
The witty,
way
the brave,
with rhythm
I know,
rhyme
but I do not
and
approve.
wonder. He was a believer who almost knew how to believe in one way to the morning, one way
Down,
through
down
the
into
night,
the darkness they go.
one way,
The gentle, the beautiful, the intelligent, the witty,
to end all fight by to the morning, one way through the night, one way to begin, and one way to end all the fight by the stove in bed.
I am not resigned.
You got it, Al. Close it out.
That was end of St. Vincent Millay's poem, I Am Not Resigned.
Everything up is down to me. What should be should, shouldn't be. Everything right just got wrong. Everything short just got long. What was dog just got cat. And this is dad. Good at two shoes just got bad. Things got happy that been said. So right is wrong. Short is a long dog is cat. And this is dad. And what was free now got a fee. And everything up is down to me.
Me, she, right, wrong, short, long, dog, cat. This is that is this, two shoes.
Everything up is down to me. What was it? He is now a she. Everything hard just got mellow. Everything brave just went yellow. What was full just got fed. Now you're belly red and dead. Rick Santorum got the funk, and Donnie Trump he lost his junk. So hard got mellow, brave gone yellow, full got fed, you're better red. And I'm still blind, but I can see it. Everything up is down to me.
Mellow, yellow, hard, brave, better red than dead, funk, hunk.
I've been this, I've been that, I've been uptight, I've been slack, I've been right, I've been cracked, I've been living, I've been whacked, I've been hungry, I've been fat, I've been lightweight, I've been led, but every which way that I turn, I just cannot seem to learn. I just cannot seem to learn.
I just cannot seem to learn. What was fine just got crappy. What was tragic just got happy. What was truth became a lie. and all I know is what I see on TV.
I've been this, I've been that, I've been uptight, I've been slacked, I've been right, I've been cracked, I've been living, I've been wet, I've been hungry, I've been fed, I've been lightweight, I've been led with every which way that I turn. I just cannot seem to learn. I just cannot seem to learn. I just cannot seem to learn. Everything up is down to me, no more to be or not to be. Everything fine just got crappy. Everything tragic just got happy. What was Mickey just got goofy, and what was Minnie just got a roofie. What was truth became the lie, and the lie became the reason why. The fine got crappy, tragic happy's Mickey's goofy by Minnie's goofy, and all I know is I'm on TV and everything up is down to me. Everything up is down to me. Everything up is down to me.
Down, up, down,
Everything up is down to me.
up, down.
How can I let it be? Everything up is down to me. We are going to take a break now. And
That's, oh, go ahead.
no, we're just taking a break. And I have nothing to say about this except I love these guys. So, and so give them all a hand. Marc Smith, Mr. Robert
And-
Long, Brian
And hang
Gephart,
hang around. We got plenty to talk about.
Doug Lofstrom.
We've got plenty of
And
people.
Aldi.
Yes, please give me applause. I need it.
I have nothing to add to that except the bar is open. Please stick around. Thanks. Folks, thanks for sticking around. This is a little part of the show where I get to come out and chat a little bit with the musicians. I will keep this brief because I know I don't want this evening to go on super long, and I'd love to get back to more music with the musicians. But I really do have some questions for Marc. I'll sort of open this up to the floor, but this is so fascinating. Isn't this fun? It's just brilliant. And how much of this is prepared? And how, well, let me back up even further. What was the process in getting this together before the gig?
Well, it all started when Bob is in one of the house bands that I use at the show every Sunday night.
And
He
for people,
invited Al, and I sat in, I did something on top of something, and then Bob said, hey, we should do some more of that, and Al said, yeah. But, yeah.
We rehearsed twice, though.
Yeah, we rehearsed twice, and nothing we did tonight did we do in the rehearsal. No.
but the poetry that you are reciting is all written? Is it, or is some of it
these are
of the
classic,
moment?
You know, they're classic poems. Some of them are mine that I chose. So I would listen to the tune, and then I just, well, this will work with it.
Yeah, I mean I know that we're wired to find connections between, you put an apple and a baseball bat next to each other and you find a connection somehow. But there are ways in which all this is working in such a beautiful kind of hand in glove way that I don't quite. I'm back there trying to figure out.
one of the things, there's a multitude of things I love about what Marc does, but one of the things, he uses poetry the same way all the great jazz players use the American songbook. But instead of the American songbook, it's every frickin' piece of wonderful poetry imaginable. So, you know, and when he uses these poems, suddenly they come to life. You
Yes.
realize what you've been missing, and then you need them again.
Well,
So-
and that's part of the beauty of this, and I know this is part of why you do what you do, at least what I assume, is that the poetry as a performance is much different than poetry as just something you read in a book.
Right, that's what the slam is all about. It's
Yeah.
performance.
So is that what prompted you to want to do performances? Is because you kind of had a sense of that? What first made you want to get up in front of people?
Yeah, I was a poet since I was 19 and wrote, and I quit the story is I quit my high-paying construction job and decided to try to make it as a writer. And the first thing I did, I didn't want to read all those poetry books, so I went to poetry readings, and they were very formal and very stifling, and here's this passionate art form, and they're just turning it into an educational exercise with no passion whatsoever. And because I was an outsider, like, what the hell are you doing? And the answer was performance. And it's hard to believe now, 35 years later, that at one time, if you even raised your voice at a poetry reading, you were being, oh, that's terrible. Oh, horrible. And it made no sense because you wouldn't ask an actor not to, express his emotions in that, or a singer to just sing the notes. But the poet world said, just read those words, blah, blah, blah. And it was terrible. And
So do you think that's because it was thought of as just a much more cerebral thing than a passionate thing?
it's a new criticism of the mid 20th century. This didn't happen in the 19th century, and it certainly didn't happen in countries, in South America or Mexico. It was the new criticism of T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound that said that you have to have this objective, something. I can't say it. I went to school in Chicago, so some words I don't know. But it was that your poet was supposed to be distanced from the work. The work was supposed to stand on its own, and that's what it killed it not only in America but in all the Western countries. Germany was the same thing. France. So when the slam is moved to Germany and France, they all go through the same battle. You shouldn't be doing it that way. Well, they were wrong. And now the slam is all over the world, and it's brought a brand new big audience to poetry, and a lot of things have come out of it.
Were you always a jazz fan?
Yes.
And so was it just sort of for you kind of an obvious connection to pair up poetry
the first
and jazz?
first show I had was at the Get Me High Jazz Club. And Steve Hashimoto was I was on at 7:30 to 9:30, and then he was on with a trio.
Really?
And that's how I met Steve. When he was setting up and I was breaking down, we just did something together, and that's how I started doing stuff.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so he was there from the very beginning.
He worked at the Get Me High. It was about a few years later that I started the first band that I worked with Steve, Heath Chappell, Carter Luke, and
Steve.
there was a trio, and Mike Smith. Yeah.
Oh, Mike Smith, sure. Wow. You seem to flow pretty easily, comfortably between other people's work and your own work. Am I right?
Doing the classic work, you mean?
Yeah, you wove in.
Well, that
Carl
was one of the
Sandburg
things when I started. It became very apparent very quickly that the poets were always reading their own works, and there's all this great classical work that if we don't speak it aloud, it gets lost. So my repertoire has at least a third classical works that I perform to keep them alive, and also to show the established world that all great poetry is performance poetry. Was not meant not to be heard and not to be passionate. All great, all the classic words is performance poetry, slam poems.
Yeah, it's true. It's true of Shakespeare that you learned in a classroom when you were reading it, and you never really understand Shakespeare until you actually see it
That's very true.
live,
Yeah.
done, and then you have that feel for it, and
Yeah.
that's performance.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And so, how does working with spoken word, and I know that, Al is such a poet in his lyric writing, so but does working with someone that's overlaying spoken word on top of music, does that change the way any of you feel about or think about what you do, how you approach it?
Well, what I noticed in the times we got together was what would happen when, in particular, those moments when Al's singing the lyrics,
Yeah.
and Mark, and we interchange those moments. Mark at times is literally on top,
Yeah.
and then there are other places where it's just divided up. But when it's on top, it's I think sometimes people are confused. I think that it's so much going on. But actually, if you lay back for a second, and I do it, I find myself almost stop playing, because what I'm hearing is I'm actually hearing these two things happening at the same time.
Isn't that true?
And it's pretty amazing. You kind of get it. You
Yeah.
may not exactly be able to describe why you get it, but you.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Part of my own experience, and I don't know if I can speak for any of you, but my own experience is that I'm finding this both beautiful and fascinating, and that those are two really distinct feelings I'm having. It's really hitting me on an emotional level, but it's also just, how is this even working? It seems like it almost feels like it shouldn't work. Like there's just so much going on, but it is. But at the same time, there's a lot going on. It still has a lot of air, a lot of space. That's beautiful.
We rehearsed twice.
I remember
They
you
were
saying
long
that,
rehearsals, though.
Yeah, they were long rehearsals.
Well, of course,
Free
there was free pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you doing any of those pieces tonight?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
No,
But not the same way.
at the end of the
Doing those pizzas.
We're not,
Oh,
at the end of the last rehearsal, and as Mark leaned over and said, "It'll be okay."
I know he is the sage as far as I'm concerned.
well, let me tell you, it's more than okay, and I'm going to get the heck out of Dodge here and just let these guys get back to music. But thank you, gentlemen. What an incredible evening.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for coming. Here they go.
Right in the drop.
Jocko?
Jocko couldn't live the normal life. Jocko couldn't die the easy death. Jocko lived like a man on fire. Jocko died like a man's desire. Jocko was the golden boy. Jocko was the favorite son. He knew what he was, but he didn't know much more. He didn't know why, but he fought the war on a one-way street. It's downtown, downtown on a one-way street. It's downtown, it's downtown.
Because it's possible to turn lead into gold. Because we do not want to live any more lead years. Because the circus of the media reverberating in our heads prevents our dreams from living and our lives from dreaming. Because the wind always turns, and the poet is an alchemist who hangs verbs on the wind of revolution. Because being a poet today is to engage, to get back the word from those who imprisoned it in private rooms, to throw it into the streets, into drooling mouths.
Jocko never took the scenic route. Just come on in with no way out. Jocko spoke in tongues, Jocko spoke in sins. Jocko dreamed his dreams where no one else had been. Jocko was his mama's child. Jocko was a boy run wild. He did good. He would have done the right thing if he only could. Not a one-way street. It's downtown. It's downtown on a one-way street. It's downtown. It's downtown. And when he closed his eyes, you know what he saw? He saw the fires of the night and the man of straw. He saw the beast and the baby and the burden and the bone. He saw the boy with the vision got nowhere home.
Being a poet today is to take poetry in the face as a pavement of freedom, to resist the puppeteers that pull our threads, to remain standing when all are defeated, to spread our riddled wings and fly among bell towers, to say fuck off to those who consider us dead, to bite those who try to master us, to bawl in the face of papier-mâché democracies, singing our lives beyond the steel walls, because being a poet today is to be like Jocko.
Jocko breathed his final breath with a crazy eye and a tooth in death. Jocko smiled and said, "It's only a game, baby. You shoot the bullet and I'll take aim." Jocko took his lover's hand and he said, "Let's do this man to man." And as the blows came raining down, Jocko smiled and said, "I'm lost, I'm found on a one-way street. It's downtown, it's downtown, on a one-way street. It's downtown, it's downtown, it's downtown, it's downtown, it's downtown, downtown."
Because being poet today take poetry in the face as a pavement of freedom to resist the puppeteers and those who master us. Being poet today is to be Jocko.
Funny?
Because Mark leads us in. Funny, Mark leads us in. Lead us in the funny Valentine.
With something?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a poem by Marvin Bell, the poet laureate of Iowa. He was one of the few professors that would come to the show. Being in love with someone who's not in love with you, you understand my predicament. Being in love with you who's not in love with me, you understand my dilemma. Being in love with your being in love with me, which you are not, you understand the difficulty. Being in love with your being, you can well imagine how hard it is. Being in love with your being you, no matter you're not your being in love with me, you can appreciate and pity being in love with you. Being in love with someone who's not in love, you know all about being in love when being in love is being in love with someone who's not in love being with you, which is being in love, which you know only too well. Love, being in love with being in love.
Funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mind your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Oh, each day is Valentine's Day.
Being in love with someone who's not in love with you,
make me smile.
You understand my predicament.
Your looks are
being in love with you, being in love with me, which you are not.
Yeah, you my
you
favorite
understand
work of
difficulty.
art. your figure.
Being in love with someone who's not in love with you. I know all about being in love when being in love is being in love with someone who's not in love with being with you. Which is
When you hold
being in love, which you know only too well.
you
Being in love with being in love.
Don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Oh, each day is Valentine's Day. Each day is Valentine's Day. Day is Valentine's
Oh, sure.
This is a tune that Al wrote that I fell in love with a long, long time ago. He has, as you can perceive, a real sense of pathos, I think is the word. But this has a lot of sort of remembrances and presentness. I don't know how to describe this. We'll just play it now. Shut up.
Let's just say,
Rehearsals had a lot of stories, let me tell you.
yeah. Let's just say Pathos is my middle name. Never mind. He was forgiven, but it didn't matter. She was a beauty, but she had no face. They were together, but they were parted by each other's saving grace. He was a good man, but he wasn't perfect. She was enchanted, she was insane. They touched each other, leaving traces of each other's saving grace. And all the lovers, and all the loves, they still reach to feel their wonder, never knowing that when they're feeling empty, there can be a saving grace.
Anyone lived in a pretty how town with up so many floating bells down? Spring, summer, autumn, winter, he sang as didn't, he danced as did. Women and men, both little and small, cared for anyone not at all. They sowed their isn't, they reaped their same. Sun, moon, stars, rain. Children guessed, but only a few, and down they forgot as up they grew. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, that no one loved him more by more. When by now, tree by leaf, she laughed his joy, she cried his grief. Spring, autumn, winter, summer, no one's penny was all to her.
was forsaken,
Someone's married their everyone's.
but he still had anger.
Laughter, cryings,
She was
did their dance.
forbidden,
sleep,
but
wake,
she
hope,
did her
then.
best. They're like a
They said their
waltz,
nevers.
two
They slept their
broken
dreams.
dancers who somehow had their saving grace. He
Sun, moon,
tried
stars,
too
rain,
hard,
but only the snow can
tries the
begin to
wrong
explain.
way.
Children are
bears the
apt to
way
forget to remember,
in a lonely
with up so floating many
place.
bells down.
They're worse than strangers. They're ancient lovers who somehow lost that saving grace. Can't you hear it? It sounds so near. It's the reason to calm your fear. It's the reason to leave the ghosts we chase. It's that final saving grace. So here's the knowing
One day anyone died, I guess,
and never knowing.
and no one stooped to kiss his
And
face.
here's the beauty
Busy folk buried them side
without
by
a
side.
face. And here's the walking,
No one by anyone,
and here's the falling.
wished by spirit,
Here's to those
if by yes.
who quit the race.
Women and men of dong and ding,
And here's to
summer, autumn,
every
winter, spring,
saving
reaped their sowing when there came
grace.
sun, moon, stars, rain.
What do you got? Yeah, what do you got? What do you want?
Well,
What do we want? Smile?
we do have Smile.
This is
We're so together.
I know.
That's, we don't know what to do without the pizza.
We have a set list.
We have a set list.
And 2 rehearsals.
And do rehearsals. But before we do it, let's do Round Midnight.
Got it.
Because that,
All right.
That was in the first set.
That's good.
it was supposed to be in the first set.
Oh, yeah.
Let me back up here.
Tell the people how you feel about this song, Al.
This is, if I was only allowed to sing one song for the rest of my life, this would be it.
All right. Good.
I mean, it's just it. It's Monk, and there's something about this tune that just, it's never the same. You can play it over and over again, and there'll be one more thing that you missed about it. It's wonderful. So,
And
You know.
for some reason, I've chosen T.S. Eliot's Ash Wednesday to put on top. That's how these things work. do not hope to turn again.
Round midnight.
Because I do not hope.
Round midnight.
Because I do not hope to turn again.
Pretty well.
Because I do not hope.
Till after.
Because I do not hope to turn again.
Sundown.
Desiring this man's gift
Supper time.
and that man's scope. Because I do not hope. I no longer strive towards such
But
things.
really,
Why should the aged eagle stretch its wings? Why should I mourn? Why should I mourn the vanished power of the usual rain? I do not hope to know again. Because I do not hope. Because I do not hope to know again the infirm glory of the positive hour. Because I cannot think. Because I know I will not know. Veritable transitory power.
Lately I find you're out of my sight.
Because I cannot drink. There where the trees flower and the springs flow. Because I do not hope to know. There's nothing.
Round midnight.
Nothing again.
Round midnight. Let the angels sing. 'Cause you're still with me. Let our love be safe and sound. When old midnight come around.
Because I know time is always time. And place is always an only place. And what is actual only for one time and one place. Therefore, I rejoice that things are as they are. And I renounce the blessed face. And I renounce the voice. Because I cannot hope to know it. Because I cannot hope.
When some quarrel we had needs mending, doesn't mean that our love is ending. Darling, I need you. Lately I find
rejoice, upon which to rejoice, and pray to God to have mercy upon us. And I pray that I may forget these matters that with myself I too much discuss, too much explain, because I do not hope to turn again. Let these words answer for what is done, not to be done again. And may the judgment be not too heavy upon us. For these wings are no longer wings to fly. We should have done that at first set because I think I was in and out the wrong place that time.
No, it was cool. That worked.
Was it okay?
Great. We want.
I did.
What we should do, because we haven't done it, and it's out of the first set, and it's just one that was going to be, do there again.
Sure. This is a piece I wrote a while back, and a wonderful singer from Australia, Joey Elkins is her name, was living in London, and I happened to be overseas. I get to throw around, I was in London and I was in Spain and all this stuff. But recorded with her this tune, and she wrote lyrics for it, and then she disappeared. I have no idea. She's disappeared off the map. She moved back to Australia. I have no way to get a hold of her, but one day I hope that she sees this or hears this, because she did a wonderful job with this. And Al, I'll just let it speak for itself.
Yeah. I too wrote a song with Bob, but he knew my address.
This is what rehearsals are like.
Search your mind, search your soul, look behind you. Thoughts that follow each place that you run to. In the flame they draw you right into. Still in silence wraps around us there again. All the faces and dreams that you cling to won't pull you from the fire you fall into. And abandoned, you fail to remember. Born in silence wraps around us there again. Search your mind, search your soul, look before you. Thoughts that opened up loved ones or come true, and discover your peace through the embers. Still in silence wraps around us. There again.
Flyboy?
Huh?
Flyboy.
Yeah.
You want an intro? Flyboy? You had me do an intro poem for them.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So this is, the song is about Bukowski. So, somewhere here,
You know, you look like me.
now I'm losing it. I'm losing it, folks. Somewhere here. So he wanted me to get a Bukowski poem to start things off. So, and now I have to get the glasses out. 'Cause, yeah, I didn't print it on the giant font. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and whores and bartenders and grocery clerks never know that he's there. There's a bluebird in my heart wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. Don't mess me up. You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out nighttime sometimes when everybody's asleep. I say, fly a little. Don't be sad. Sing a little. Then I put him back in. There's a bluebird in my heart. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together. That's our secret pact. Nice enough to make a man weep. But I don't weep. Do you?
I just want more Bukowski. Flyboy and Henry Flame were cruising down the canyon. Flame said Flyboy were desperate men. That's always been my favorite answer. Flyboy said Henry Flame, I'm gonna live until I die. Flame said Flyboy, don't live too long, or you might start to wonder why. Then you can kiss your lover, kill your love, then you're gone, gone, gone. Climb that hill and sin your little sin. You're gone, gone, gone. Dance with the baby, jam with the king, then you're gone, gone, gone. Come the end, it won't mean a thing. Then you're gone, gone, gone. Flyboy and Henry Flame pretended to be cowboys. Flame said Flyboy were desperate men. That's always been my favorite answer. Flyboy said Henry Flame, I got this silver bullet. It'll pay for you and me to be 2 steps down and 1 step free. then you can kiss your lover. Kill your love, then you're gone, gone, gone. Climb that hill and sin your little sin, then you're gone, gone, gone. Dance with the baby, jam with the king, then you're gone, gone, gone. Come the end, won't mean a thing, then you're gone, gone, gone. Tell me all of your stories and your beautiful lies. How love fell to the bottom could only be seen by your green eyes and your thin disguise. Flyboy and Henry Flame knew they would be parted. Flame said, Flyboy, just close your eyes and just pretend you can sleep. Flyboy said, Henry Flame, I got too many answers. So in the end, when I'm fading, just write my name down one more time, and you can kiss your lover, kill your love, then you're gone, gone, gone. Climb that hill and sin your little sin, you're gone, gone, gone. Dance with the baby, jam with the king, gone, gone, gone. Come the end, won't mean a thing, you're gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, gone. Gone, gone, Hope of Hope? Yeah, I think we're ready for it.
This is a song that it's our last number, I believe. It's a song Al wrote lyrics for along with Sue DeMille, who some of you may know, who's with Sons of the Never Wrong. She's a wonderful lyricist, a wonderful songwriter too. And it comes from, the title comes from a quote by an Argentine composer, wonderful composer, Osvaldo Goldenhoff. It's an Eastern European name, but his family immigrated to Argentina. He's an incredible composer. If you've ever had a chance to hear his works, his works defy description. They're a combination of just everything under the sun. But he says about art that what art is the hope of hope. For no hope, we have reality.
Yeah.
That was happy.
Don't we know it?
You'd love that.
and a child can see no more. As the sky of tears falls tenderly upon the hope of hope, every soul that's still left waiting for a reason and a way will dream of falling endlessly above the hope of hope, above the hope of.
I wanted to be so many things, bigger than I was. A tall tower of building blocks, a shoelace tied so fast, jelly spread smoothly to the corners of the bread. I wanted to be so good. A smile on everyone's face, folded hands, a clean desk. All the numbers added up, digit under digit, perfectly clear. I wanted to stand between the bully and the frail kid, ready to take it, ready to give it back. I wanted to do the right things, pull the spit back into my mouth, scrape the gum-chewed secrets off the bottoms of the chairs, drag the dumb, go-along laughs out of the air. I wanted to stand on an asteroid, whirling a mighty chain into the heart of the universe, and by loving whatever I wanted to love, when I wanted to love, how I wanted to love. I wanted to grapple the ultimate connection.
Sits the poet.
So what happened?
Weeping for
What happened during that great hippy-dippy
perfect
revolution?
rhyme.
After we pinned our daddies to the floor,
It's the hope of
they made our
hope
mothers eat shame,
that's ringing.
after we rolled all antiquity and tradition into cigar-sized joints,
That's yours.
sucking in whole rooms of humanity.
The hope
Hoping
that's
to
yours
simulate all the differences
The hope
and heat the world with our spontaneous combustion.
yours and mine.
What happened?
The hope
The chain on the asteroid slipped out of our hands when the ones we loved
the hope
loved others.
that's yours
When our laugh became the dumb laugh, when the spit shot quick and hard from our teeth,
that's yours.
when we gave the kids the beatings. What happened to our dreams? What happened to me?
I wanted to read all the books of unerring truth. I wanted to tie my shoelace fast, spread jelly smoothly to the corners of bread, build a tower, a tall tower, spell everybody's name, top to bottom, bottom to top, all four sides in and out, without the whole thing.
Oh, it's your
The whole thing.
and mine.
The whole thing falling.
The whole that's yours and mine. The whole that's yours and mine. The whole that's yours and mine. The whole that's yours and mine.
I wanted to be so many things.
The hope that's yours and mine. The hope that's yours and mine.
Thank you
Oh,
very
my.
much. Thank you for hanging with us.
Oh, my.
Thank you.
That's Brian Gephart, Doug Lofstrom, Bob Long on the piano, Al Day over there singing and playing
Music
for you,
falling all over the place.
and Marc Smith. Marc Smith.